In 1974, a teenage girl went on a first date in Fort Worth, Texas. She never came home. For nearly half a century, her family waited. The police searched. Suspects came and went. Evidence sat in boxes. And one man lived his entire life without being held accountable. This is the story of Carla Jan Walker, a case that haunted Texas for 46 years, and one that was finally solved, not by luck, not by confession, but by patience, science, and time. Carla Jan Walker was 17 years old. She lived in Fort Worth, Texas, with her family. Friends described her as kind, quiet, and responsible. She was the kind of teenager parents trusted. Carla worked part-time at Western Hills Bowling Alley. She liked normal things, music, movies, spending time with friends. Nothing about her life suggested danger. On the evening of February 16, 1974, Carla went on a date with her boyfriend, Rodney McCoy. They planned to attend a school dance. It was supposed to be a normal Saturday night. It became the last night Carla was ever seen alive. After the dance, Carla and Rodney parked at Holiday Skate Rink, a popular local hangout for teenagers. They sat in Rodney's car, talking. At around 9:30 p.m., a man approached the vehicle. He was armed with a gun. The man forced Rodney out of the car. He struck him repeatedly with the gun. Rodney was beaten badly, left bleeding on the ground. Then the man took Carla. He drove away in Rodney's car, with Carla inside. Rodney survived. Carla did not. Police were called immediately. Roadblocks were set up, but by the time officers arrived, the kidnapper was already gone. 3 days later, on February 19, 1974, Carla's body was found. She was discovered in a drainage ditch near Benbrook Lake, about 10 miles from where she was taken. She had been sexually assaulted. She had been strangled. The brutality shocked the community. Fort Worth police launched a full investigation. But in 1974, tools were limited. There were no DNA databases, no genetic genealogy, no modern forensic testing, only witness statements, physical evidence, and memory. Rodney McCoy gave a detailed description of the attacker. Police created a composite sketch. Several suspects were questioned. None could be conclusively tied to the crime. Carla's case slowly went cold. Years passed. Her parents never stopped asking questions, never stopped hoping. Evidence from the crime, including biological material, was carefully preserved. That decision would matter decades later. Even as the case faded from headlines, it never fully disappeared. Detectives revisited it periodically. Each time, the same problem remained. There was no name. The killer lived freely. He built a life. He grew old. Meanwhile, Carla's family grew older without answers. By the 2000s, many assumed the case would never be solved. They were wrong. In the late 2010s, Fort Worth police decided to re-examine old cold cases using modern DNA technology. Carla Walker's case was one of them. Biological evidence collected in 1974 was tested again. This time, investigators created a DNA profile of the suspect. But there was still no direct match in criminal databases. So they tried something new. Police turned to genetic genealogy, the same method used to catch the Golden State Killer. Instead of looking for the suspect, they looked for relatives, distant cousins, family connections, shared ancestry. Slowly, a family tree was built. One name stood out. The DNA trail led to Robert Russell Keller. He lived in Texas in 1974. He matched the physical description. He had no criminal record for violent crimes. Keller was an ordinary man on the surface, but his DNA told a different story. Investigators collected a discarded item containing Keller's DNA. The match was confirmed. After 46 years, police finally had their suspect. In June 2020, Robert Russell Keller was arrested. He was 72 years old. He was charged with capital murder. For Carla's family, the moment was overwhelming. Justice had taken nearly half a century, but it had arrived. Keller later pleaded guilty to avoid the death penalty. In 2021, Keller was sentenced to life in prison without parole. In court, Carla's family spoke. They talked about birthdays missed, holidays without her, a lifetime of grief. Keller showed no public remorse. But his silence no longer mattered. The truth was known. Carla Walker's case is not just a murder story. It is proof that cold cases are never truly dead. Evidence matters, even decades later. Science can succeed where time failed. Victims are not forgotten. One preserved sample, one patient investigation, one breakthrough, and a killer who thought he had escaped forever was finally named. Carla Walker was 17 years old. She deserved a future. She did not get justice in her lifetime, but she was not forgotten. After 46 years, the truth came out. And sometimes that is enough to remind us. Time does not erase guilt, and the truth has a long memory. This was TruthTrove Stories. Thank you for watching.